I'm thinking about dreaming and about thinking and a bit about art actually, because it seems to me that that dreaming, which is a kind of cognitive process that's taking place all the time. I think we tend to associate dreaming with being asleep, but dreaming is happening all the time. We just don't recognise it because the lights are so bright in consciousness that we don't see the faint glimmers of our dreams during the day, just like we can't see the stars. But they're there all the time. The constellations are all up there right now, you just can't see them. And the dreams are happening all the time too. But they do affect everything we do. The dreamscape, which is kind of powering our consciousness. It's not just that it's the background noise. A lot of the way that I'm capable of operating as a conscious human being is only because there's a whole dream world going on behind my conscious thought, which is providing the images and the metaphors and the analogies and this kind of weird, shifting, misty landscape is constantly kind of realizing these things and presenting them to little fragments of them, at least, to consciousness. So I'm really only conscious at all because of this massive dreamscape that's just behind my eyes, that I'm barely aware of while I'm awake. But this dreaming thing, it does realise itself. It is manifest. You know what I mean? It's present in my language. Just even though I'm speaking the most plain and simple way, the dream is evident in there. The play of metaphor and synecdoche and analogy in language is there. It's there in this gesture. Why am I doing this with my hand when I'm talking? In a sense, there's a kind of living embodied dream taking place in which something is being churned, ideas are being turned over, and the idea of turning something over is taking place in the dream world and is shadowing itself here. Here there's a small trace of it taking place at the level of gesture. It's at the level of our constructions. Look at this old mine I'm standing in front of, look. This is like a dream made stone. Yes, of course it's there for a purpose, or it was. Now it's not. Now it's part of the dreamscape of memory. And all that stuff, look at all this stuff, all this human habitation stuff that I'm surrounded by. All the choices that have been made to put that stuff together is all being powered by the dreamscape, which underpins all of our thinking. And which is just barely there. It requires quite a bit of analysis. You kind of got to run a psychoanalysis on the world of lived experience, the built environment sometimes. This is the kind of stuff that Poetics of Space guy, psychoanalysis of fire, running through the poetics of day-to-day life reveals that's what happens. You're revealing that, as I say, behind the scenes of all our lives is a massive dreamscape. A dream is being lived out with all of the insanity that dreams have. And this, the plain real world, is shot through with that. So I was just thinking about that in terms of art. I've got very misgivings about the word art. It's one of those words that's very easily misunderstood. It has millions of different definitions, and if you're not clear about what your definition is, where you start, it can lead to all kinds of confusions. But in general, one of the things that often said about art, or what it often feels like, is it feels like it's a bit of an add-on. There's this world, and then some people do this art on top of that, in addition to it. But sometimes I look at art and I think this isn't an addition to the world. This is what the world looks like if it's stripped away. Even this way, if the superficial bits are taken away and the dream is revealed behind the scenes, this is what it looks like. You just take away the top layer, the encrustations of real life, and there's the dream beneath it revealed. So you take away the trappings of instrumental language and the desire to communicate and the functions of language, and you're left with the all that massive undercarriage that you find in poetry. Similar things in painting, similar things in filmmaking. Yeah. Poetic architecture. Some critics in the background.